Okay, so this is the video that I was talking about in my last video that I would make, which is why I think or why I honestly hated chapter 4. And I honestly also think that chapter 4 is the worst chapter in Fortnite's history. I think chapter 5 is way better than chapter 4 ever was. I've been having more fun playing chapter 5 than I've had playing chapter 4. And I have not had that much fun playing chapter 4. I've had more fun and I've enjoyed more chapter 5. Chapter I think I found chapter 4, don't get me wrong. I think all of the 4 seasons that we had throughout chapter 4 were all good. Chapter 4 season 1 was good, chapter 4 season 2 was good, chapter 4 season 3 was also good, and chapter 4 season 4 was also great. The two best seasons of of chapter 4 were the first season and chapter 4 season 4. I was gonna say the last season of chapter 4. Oh yeah, I forgot. Chapter 4 season OG. The the best seasons of chapter 4 were the first season, the fourth season, and the fifth season, which was season OG. So those 3 seasons were the best out of chapter 4. Chapter 4 season 2 was great, but I don't really remember having that much fun playing Chapter 4 Season 2, if I'm being honest. I know tons of people love Chapter 4 Season 2, and to being honest, I don't really remember having that much fun playing Chapter 4 Season 2. I think back then, when Chapter 4 Season 2 was still out, I honestly thought Chapter 4 Season 2 was bad. I think when Chapter 4 Season 2 was going, I honestly thought it was bad. But now looking back at it, it was better than I made it out to be back then. Because back then, when Chapter 4 Season 2 was still going, I hated it. But now looking back on Chapter 4 Season 2, it's it was a really good season. We had the Mega City biome. We had the Mega City location. The Mega City location was really, really cool. We had Naughty Steps, I think it was called Naughty Steps. And then we had the not Salty Springs, the third location. We had Mega City, Naughty Steps, I think, and then we had one more location that had springs at the end of it, I think. Yeah, yeah, I forgot what it's called, but yeah, that third location. But yeah, looking back on Chapter 4 Season 2, it was a really, really, really good season. Chapter 4 Season 3 was when I first played Chapter 4 Season 3, the day it launched, I thought it was a really good season. I honestly thought it was really good. I thought the Battle Pass was great that season with Optimus Prime, which is my childhood hero, I guess you could say. I grew up with Optimus Prime. I grew up with Transformers, so of course, I obviously got that season's Battle Pass, of course, and of course, I also did reach level 100, of course. Um, and then we have Chapter 4 Season 4, which was a great season. Chapter 4 Season 4 was one of my favorite seasons ever. And the reason for that is because Chapter 4 Season 4 basically mirrors, yeah, Chapter 2 Season 2. And Chapter 2 Season 2 is my number one favorite Fortnite season of all time. So you already know, of course, I was gonna love Chapter 4 Season 2. Any season that mirrors Chapter 2 Season 2, I'm gonna absolutely love. And yeah. And then we had Chapter 4 Season OG, which is the return of Chapter 1, and of course, obviously, of course, I loved that season as well. Uh, if I had to pick the season that I least liked back then, not now, because back then, when Chapter 4 was still going, I would have said that Chapter 4 Season 2 was the worst season of that chapter. But now, looking back on Chapter 4 seasons, I would have to say that right now, this version of me, I would say that the worst season for Chapter 4 was indeed Chapter 4 Season 3. I think that was the worst season of that chapter. But again, back then, when Chapter 4 was still going, I would have said that Chapter 4 Season 2 was the worst season of that chapter, just because I didn't really have that much fun playing Chapter 4 Season 2. And if I'm being it's just that I don't really remember having that much fun playing Chapter 4 Season 2. I just don't really remember having fun playing that season. I probably did, but I just don't really remember having fun playing that season. Okay, now let's get into the reasons on why I hated Chapter 4. My number one problem with Chapter 4, and I said this in my last video, it was the map. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the POIs, I love the Citadel, I love the Shattered Slabs, or whatever it was called, I loved Fatal Fields, I loved the Faulty Splits, I loved Slappy Shores, I loved Brutal Bastion, I loved Anvil Square. What was the location that was yeah, I think those are all the. Oh yeah, and I also loved the location that was next to Brutal Bastion. I forgot what it's called. Something Labs, not Red Labs. Something Labs. Yeah, that location. I loved every single location throughout all of Chapter 4. I loved Mega City. I loved Naughty Steps. I loved the Springs POI next to the left of Mega City. I loved the jungle biome. I actually did really like the jungle biome, and I liked all four locations or three locations. Anyways, I loved all of the locations that were inside the jungle biome. I loved Eclipse Estate. I loved Sanguine Suites, and I loved Relentless Retreat. I loved all of the locations that were included in that map. I loved all the locations. I just didn't like the way the map looked. Not the way it looked, the way it was structured. Like the way it was structured just felt so weird. I honestly think the Chapter 4 map is the worst map out of all 5 maps that we've had. The fourth map for the Chapter 4 map was the worst map. I like the Chapter 4 map was just awful. Again, I love the locations. I loved all the locations. I just didn't like the way the Chapter 4 island looked, and it has nothing to do with the graphics. I'll get into the graphics later. I just didn't like the way the Chapter 4 island was structured. It just felt so. Oh wait, another issue. The Chapter 4 map was really, really small compared to the first 3 chapters and the 5th chapter. The Chapter 4 map is just really small, and I did not like that at all. The Chapter 4 map, if the Chapter 4 map would have been bigger than it was, I would have loved it even more. And I wouldn't be saying right now that Chapter 4 is the worst chapter of Fortnite. And also, it's not just the map. I just didn't really have that much fun playing Chapter 4, except Season OG. I had a blast playing Chapter 4 Season OG. But throughout the first 4 seasons of Chapter 4, I didn't really have that much fun. I actually didn't really have that much fun playing. Like, the guns were. I'm trying to remember the guns. The guns were okay. I mean, I can't really remember the guns. I mean, we had the Red Eye, we had the Thunder Shotgun, and we had a couple of SMGs. I don't know why, I can't really remember any of the Chapter 4 maps except the Red Eye. The Red Eye is the only gun that I can remember from that chapter. And the Thunder Shotgun. And the Twin Mag Assault Rifle. Oh yeah, and the Twin Mag SMG. Those are the only guns that I can remember from that chapter in general. Actually, on a second thought, I think the best season of Chapter 4, oh man, because I actually had a lot of fun playing Chapter 4 Season 4. And I also had a lot of fun playing Chapter 4 Season OG. If I had to choose which one was better, for me, yeah, Season OG was better. Season OG was better. I don't know why I was comparing Chapter 4 Season 4 to Chapter 4 Season OG. Yeah, Chapter 4 Season OG was better. Yeah, I do not know what I was trying to get there. I do not know what I was going to say, but yeah. Chapter 4 Season OG was definitely the best chapter. The best season of that chapter. Of Chapter 4. The guns, again, I can't really remember any of the guns for me. I cannot remember any of the guns. I cannot remember any of the guns. I can remember all the locations, which I literally just listed you guys every single location we've had the entire chapter. But for some reason, I cannot remember any of the guns we had in that chapter, besides the Red Eye, Thunder Shotgun, Twin Mag SMG, and the Twin Mag Assault Rifle. Oh yeah, we also had the Infiltrator Shotgun. I definitely remember that. But I cannot remember anything else. Oh yeah, we also had the return of the drum shotgun for Chapter 4, Season 3. Oh yeah, we also had the Havoc shotgun. The Havoc shotgun, yeah, that one too. We also had the Havoc shotgun, and the Mythic one used to do 200 damage to the head, and it still does. The Havoc shotgun did 200 damage to the head in builds, and in creative mode, and the Havoc and the Mythic Havoc shotgun is in creative mode, and it still does 200 headshot damage to the head, I believe. Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, it does. But yeah, those are all the guns that I can remember. The graphics was probably my favorite thing about that chapter. The chapter 4 graphics were just top notch. The the chapter 4 graphics was my favorite thing out of that entire chapter. Obviously, in chapter 4 Sin OG, we got the return of the OG graphics, which was really cool. Um, the movement felt different in chapter 4. Well, the movement was still the same, but it felt smoother. Like I can remember that. I can remember the movement in that chapter feeling smoother. I can definitely remember that. I can remember the game feeling smoother in general. The game felt really smooth in general. Um, oh, I could be wrong, but Epic Games used a different Unreal Engine version for Chapter 4, so that could be why the movement felt smoother and it felt cleaner. Again, back to the graphics. Yeah, the graphics for Chapter 4 was my favorite thing about that entire chapter. Um, the graphics just looked really good that chapter. Like the graphics were top notch that entire chapter. That was my favorite thing about that chapter. Also, in Chapter 4, Season 1, we had a massive update a few weeks before the season ended. And of course, this update was the. You know what I just remembered? Chapter 4, Season 1 was the first ever season to to introduce the mid-season battle passes and the mid-season updates that would have a mid-season mini battle pass. That was the first time they ever did that. Yeah, that was the first time they ever did that. Yeah. And for that season, it was the heisted. For that season, it was the heisted. Basically the mini battle pass and the mid-season update for that season, for Chapter 4 Season 1, was heisted. Excuse me. We had a battle pass for that season. I mean, we had a mini battle pass for that. Okay, but yeah, you guys get the point. Um, but yeah, I just did. I just don't really like Chapter 4, man. The map was just so bad. I mean, the locations were great, but the map layout was really, really bad. Um, my favorite location in that chapter. Okay, my favorite location. My favorite location. My favorite locations were Mega City. No, not Mega City. Yeah, Mega City. Faulty Splits. And what's that location called? God, I can't remember. What's that location called? Not Shabby Shore. No, no. What was that location called? Slur? No, that's Slap. Slap Factory. Slap. Slappy Shores. Yeah, Slappy Shores. That one. Slappy Shores. Yeah, that one. Those were my three favorite locations that entire chapter. Okay, and Eclipse Estate. I almost forgot. And Eclipse Estate. Okay, my favorite locations. Let me go over it again. Mega City, Faulty Splits, Slappy Shores, Eclipse Estate, Sanguine Suites, and Relentless Retreat. Those were my six favorite locations throughout that entire chapter. And maybe Brutal Bastion. Yeah, and Brutal Bastion. Basically, every single location in that chapter I loved. I didn't have a problem with a single one of the locations that were in chapter 4. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just didn't really have that much fun playing chapter 4. I just don't know why. I just did not have that much fun playing chapter 4. The seasons were great. Well, some of the seasons were great. but I just didn't really have that much fun playing. The map was awful. Again, not the locations, but the map. Like the island layout, like the island was awful. The way it was structured, the way it was shaped, it was awful. And but yeah, guys, that's it for this video. I just want to talk to you guys about why I hate chapter 4 and why I think chapter 4 is the worst chapter. You guys might not agree with me, but that's just the reason why I hate chapter 4. It's because of the map, and I just didn't really have that much fun playing chapter 4, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's nothing personal. I just didn't really have that much fun playing chapter 4. I just know I'm going to get a bunch of hate comments for me hating on chapter 4, but it's nothing personal. It's just my personal opinion on why I think chapter 4 is the worst chapter. Again, like I said earlier, I've been having more fun playing chapter 5 than I have in the entirety of chapter 4, besides chapter 4 season OG, besides season OG. And yeah, I think chapter 5 is hands down way better than chapter 4. I will always say that. But hey guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want if you guys want to support me, please consider subscribing. We're so close to 400 subs. But hey guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys on my next video.